Hello, and welcome back to Old School Nana. As you can see, we are in Nana's kitchen today. Have you ever gone to the refrigerator after Thanksgiving, opened that door, and said, "Oh my goodness, what am I going to do with all of this leftover turkey?" Well, today I'm going to share a family favorite recipe with you that will answer that question deliciously. Turkey salad. Everyone loves it. There's usually not quite enough to go around because everyone is happy to just fill their plates with turkey salad. So let me just share with you quickly the ingredients we're going to look at. I have already washed and patted somewhat dry some celery. I have an apple, and I have some already chopped up walnuts. Here's a turkey breast. Papa and I, when we do bake or put it in one of those turkey roasters, we will always pull off an entire turkey breast, wrap it up, get it into the freezer because we know we are going to want to make turkey salad with it. I have some fresh rosemary, and I have some grapes. Papa's favorite, he likes these darker, I don't know, I think they call them midnight something or other grapes. And then one thing I will not deviate from is my mayonnaise. Now, I am not promoting Duke's mayonnaise. I have no financial tie to them other than I buy their product. The reason I buy it and insist on it is because it is sugar-free. And ever since my breast cancer diagnosis, I have eliminated sugar completely from my lifestyle. So, my Duke's mayonnaise. I want to bring your attention to this cutting board. This June, Papa and I will have been married for 55 years. And so sometime this coming spring, that cutting board will be 55 years old. And so periodically, Papa sands it down and he seals it with a food grade mineral oil, and it comes out just looking like new. So I'm unwrapping, of course, this turkey breast. It's been seasoned and baked and actually probably had some rosemary on it when it was cooked. I don't mind the skin, y'all, when the turkey is hot at Thanksgiving. I am not a fan of the skin when it gets cold. So, peeling that skin off of there, it'll go in the garbage bowl for sure. Now, I'm going to walk over here and wash my hands good with some soap and water. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to continue to tell you some ideas. Now, if you can't get access to turkey year-round, which most of us can't, you could certainly use this recipe and make a chicken salad with it. You know, bake a chicken or put your chicken in the crock pot and take all the meat off the bone and chop it up. Now, if you are like I was when I was younger and you're working, you have a career, you could certainly pick up a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store. It would work the same. And so honestly, all we're going to do is just chop this turkey into, I don't know, I guess you would call them squares, bite-sized pieces. And again, you know, Nana and Papa, we just generally don't measure things very much, okay? Because we just kind of go by sight and smell, and we probably made this recipe up anyway to start with. I don't know. So there may be a recipe out there which, you know, might give you more information as far as amounts of ingredients. But see, here's the deal today. I don't know how much turkey you had left over from Thanksgiving. So I can't honestly tell you exactly how many and how whatever of all the things that you need to use. Or, like I said, maybe you went to the store and picked up a rotisserie chicken. I don't know how big it is. So you might just, you know, get the general idea of the ingredients. And then always I encourage you to make things the way you like them and the way your family likes them. So I'll just continue cutting this turkey and putting it into the large mixing bowl, and I'll come back to you in a minute. As you can see, the turkey is now chopped up. Now, y'all, I'm not trying to get a cooking show going on the television, so I'm not all worried about whether every little chunk is precisely the same size as every other little chunk. It's cut up. That's what we want it to do. All right. So I have already washed my hands. I've washed the cutting board and the chopper knife. And I think the next thing I'd like to add would be the rosemary. Now, I was able to pick this when we were over in Missouri the other day at Air to Ground Farms, and it has gotten, a bit dried out, which is not at all a problem because you can buy dried rosemary in the grocery store. In fact, if you don't have access to fresh rosemary, especially this time of year, maybe if it's in November, you could be making this in July. I don't care. But anyway, you can always use that kind of rosemary that they sell in the grocery store in a bottle in the spice section that just says dried rosemary. So I wanted to just show you, this is how I do it. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong. I'm just showing you how I do it. So I just take the stem and I cut, and now you can get too much of this stuff. Y'all put what you want in there. Bob and I really love the rosemary, but I can't, sometimes could, I guess, tend to get a little carried away. But anyway, I just take a stem and I kind of run my fingers backwards over the rosemary, I don't know, leaves, twigs, whatever they are. And it comes off, a lot more quickly. And I don't know how many years I spent just trying to pick off every little leaf until I discovered that, well, maybe if I just run my hand backwards, they just pop right off. So if they're a little bit dried, they'll do that. Or if they're still green as all get out and you just now clipped them out of your garden, they'll still peel off like that pretty easily. Of course, sometimes they'll have a little stem sticking out like that, and we don't care to have stems in there, really, if we could help it. But, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to just stop right there. I'll come back to you in a minute. Like I said, you don't have to watch me cut up every single ingredient that's going into this turkey salad. The idea is to keep kind of scooting this stuff together and then continuing to chop so that it's small, like really as small as you can get it. If it's cooked, it will get soft, it will get tender. But with it not being cooked, it might kind of be a little bit like eating a sticker, and you really don't want any stickers in your food. So we're going to just slide that right in there, and it looks good to me. Yeah, I think it's going to be all right. You can see, a little blob of rosemary. It'll spread around when we start stirring. Let's move on to the celery. So I'm just going to cut the top off of this. I'll come back to it in a minute. I'm not putting it probably in our turkey salad, but I'm not throwing it away, right? That just means I'm going to cut it up probably into some celery sticks and just eat it on my plate, or maybe even dip my turkey salad with it. But I'll certainly put it on a plate. Papa, he's pretty good with celery sticks. If you got like some blue cheese or some ranch dressing to dip them in, he's real happy with them then. But I take that center that's a little more tender, slice it down the middle so that it's a bit smaller. Papa likes small pieces of celery, either in his turkey salad or chicken salad, tuna salad, I think I even put it in egg salad sometimes. Well, anyway, let's get it, fairly small. Now, you are probably saying, well, how much celery, Nana? And I'm going to say, I don't know. How much do you want? How much do you like celery? Do you not like celery at all? Don't put it in there. It's fine. You don't want rosemary? Don't put rosemary in there. You know, this is your turkey salad that you're making, or your chicken salad that you're making. I really feel as if we could use a little bit more celery. Oopsie. It's coming back here now. And we're just going to do the same thing again this time. Just kind of split that down the middle, get it lined up, chop it, you know, fairly small, toss it over in the bowl. I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, celery is now in there. We're getting closer. Okay, how about, let's put the walnuts in next. And I will explain to you in just a second why I'm doing it in this order. So walnuts, they're already chopped. They're not very small though. I don't know, they say chopped. Do y'all like them like that big? Or would you like them smaller in your turkey salad? I think I'm gonna cut these up just a little bit smaller. You know, the package said chopped, but I'm beginning to think they weren't so perfectly well chopped, were they? Well, anyways, we're going to dump some of those in there. Why am I using walnuts? Well, you could use pecans, and I've used pecans before, and it's perfectly fine, and it tastes good that way. But to me, the walnuts have just a little more flavor, and they will tend to, I guess you would say, show up. I just made that up. Tend to show up a little bit more in the flavor of your recipe. But pecans are certainly fine. They're just, to me, they're a little milder than walnuts. So, here we go. I made the mistake of just dumping the rest of the bag onto my cutting board. Have y'all ever noticed, or is it just the things that I buy, that in the bottom of the bags of whether it's walnuts or pecans or whatever, there'll usually just be a whole bunch of these little bitty crumbs, and I went, no, we do not want those in our turkey salad. So I'm just going to put them in the trash bowl. They could have probably gone into the compost bowl. However, the compost bowl's too small, so I'm brushing these guys out of the way. I don't like all those little, look, it's like crumbs. So we're gonna wash that off. What I have discovered that I can do, or that I should have remembered to do before I dumped crumbs everywhere, is I just pour the bottom of the bag of nuts into this little strainer, colander, whatever you want to call it, and just sort of shape it around and try to eliminate as much of those little yucky crumbs as I possibly can. So here we are. We're back to the cutting board, looking a lot better, I think. Yes, I like the way that looks. Walnuts are chopped. They're going over into the turkey salad. I don't know, that may have been too many. Now that I've thrown them all in there, good thing Papa and I like walnuts, because we're going to have plenty in our salad. We don't mind. Now, I'm about to put the mayonnaise in. How much mayonnaise does it need? Well, we don't know yet. Let's get it in here. Let's start with a big scoop. I don't think that's going to be enough, do y'all? All right, let's go another scoop. And then a piece of a scoop. All right, it's easier to add more than it is to try to figure out how you're going to compensate for the fact that you put way too much mayonnaise in your turkey salad. So we're going to stop right there, and I'll move this over so you can, hopefully you can see it as I'm stirring. And as I'm thinking about it and looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's going to need more mayonnaise. I don't want it too dry at all. That wouldn't be delicious. Yeah, let's go with a couple more of the larger, like, scoops. Now, if you're like, oh man, that's a lot of mayonnaise. That's a lot of fat in there. Yes, I would have thought that in the past also, but since, like I said, I mentioned my cancer diagnosis, I try to follow, not perfectly, but closely, ketogenic lifestyle. I definitely, as I told you, I've eliminated all sugar from anything that I eat or drink, even down to my choice of mayonnaise or ketchup or any other condiments. Y'all, they're high in sugar, if you haven't noticed, even ketchup and barbecue sauce. Well, anyways, I'm not trying to preach about that today. I'm trying to make turkey salad. But seeing as how I stay under 50 carbs a day and eliminated sugar completely, it's a good plan in my, quote, diet, which I'm not on a diet. Diet just means the things that I choose to eat and drink. It's a good plan in my diet to have some additional fats and definitely proteins. So that's why the Duke's mayonnaise. That's why I put the ingredients in here in the order that I did. Gosh, I'm sorry, that just keeps making a loud noise. And that's why I will be dipping me some of this turkey salad out before I add the other ingredients that I have shown you. So like I told you, I'm going to take me some out before I add the fruits. Not that I have anything against fruit, y'all. I love fruit. It's just a little higher in carbs than what I want to do in a day. And if I overdo my carbs by eating fruit, then I have a harder time staying under my carbs for the rest of the day for the other things I eat. So I don't leave that much behind. And I do the same thing when I'm with the kids and the grandkids. And we have some folks that are following a ketogenic lifestyle and others not so much. So I take some out, try to be able to meet the needs of the dietary lifestyle that my family, my loved ones are participating in. Just kind of seems like a love language to me. I know I've told y'all that I think my love language is feeding people. So I just try to feed them things that I know they like and that they're going to want to eat. All right, here we go, grapes. I don't know, y'all, how many grapes? Again, I don't know. The Papa loves them. And if they, if I don't put all of them in the salad, then, he'll put them on his plate and eat them with his turkey salad. But I'm going to cut up grapes, throw them into here, then we'll get to the apple, and we'll look at the finished product and see if we like the way it looks. Of course, we'll have to taste it, make sure it tastes good, because that's what really counts. Notice that the last thing I'm putting in here will be the apple. And the reason for that, I'm sure you already know this, that apples, once you cut into them, they turn dark pretty quickly. So the faster that I can get that apple cut up and in here and coated with mayonnaise, the less likely that is to happen. So you notice I just cut it into quarters. I don't peel it. Maybe I should. Papa's perfectly happy with it not peeled. The rest of the family's perfectly happy with it not peeled, and I'm happy not to take the time to peel it. Of course, most of us have leftover turkey around the Thanksgiving time, and maybe you have leftover house guests. And, maybe you would like to feed them a nice lunch after Thanksgiving before they get on the road, perhaps on Sunday after Thanksgiving, whatever. And boy, I tell you, you put this out, and I don't think you're going to have to worry about having any more turkey leftovers because this is always such a hit. Just all the combination of the flavors in here, the crunchiness of the walnuts and the celery, and in this case, the apples. Now, how would I suggest to serve it? Well, any number of ways. You could serve it just on a plate and eat it. You can, of course, use bread for a sandwich or a croissants. You could use crackers, if let's think. Lettuce, maybe just put it on a bed of lettuce, or put it on a piece of a leaf of romaine lettuce, and you use it like what do they call that? A roll up. I don't think that's what they call it. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. And now we're going to stir the apples in. At my house, when I was a kid growing up, there was no such of a thing as mayonnaise. We had Miracle Whip. Now, it was called mayonnaise, but it wasn't. I think Miracle Whip was, of course, less expensive, but I think also it's kind of a regional thing. A lot of the folks around here prefer Miracle Whip to mayonnaise. Oh, did I say this already? That you might want to have this on hand for everybody or just yourself before you start maybe your Black Friday shopping trip, for example. Man, this is just great. And I have to say, I think it might even be better left over. So you can't go wrong with this. Have it on hand. Have it on hand year round. You don't have to wait till Thanksgiving. I have washed and patted dry some romaine lettuce leaves, and now I'm just going to put together Papa's lunch and my lunch. So for me, I'm just going to start with this one. I'm going to use the same spoon because I don't want to have to keep washing things. Stir this around a little more, get the rest of that mayonnaise off of that spoon, and then spoon into my lettuce leaf, a dab of the turkey salad. I'll roll it up, kind of like a burrito, I guess you would say, and pinch it over and see what we can do. There's my compost bowl. All right, there's one turkey salad roll up lettuce leaf thing. I know it's not pretty, but it's Nana. We're not trying to get our own cooking show on the television. We're trying to get some food on the table so Papa and I can have some lunch here in a minute. And then I'm going to take another lettuce leaf. I guess I could put it over here where y'all could see what I'm doing. I'm going to get another lettuce leaf. Let me get him a scoop of turkey salad. Mercy. All right, let's see what we can do here. Get it right there. I'll use my knife, scrape it out a little bit. He's going to want more than that, I assure you. But we can start with this, and then he can add more turkey salad, more lettuce leaves, crackers and bread or whatever. Actually, he doesn't have any crackers and bread because we don't buy those kinds of things anymore. But yeah, he might just put his on a spoon and eat it. But anyway, like I said, I know it isn't pretty. Y'all get the idea. If you followed me all the way from the beginning to the end here, I sure hope you did. I know it probably got a little boring at times, but anyways, I want you to see this beautiful turkey salad. I'll put some on the side of the plate so you can actually see it. So I want you to see what it's looking like now that we're finished. He's got some apples and some grapes in his. He'll like that. Let me add him another grape so it'll look prettier. There. A couple more grapes. Looks good. What else should I lay on this plate? Maybe a celery stick. How about a couple of apple slices? Because this is Nana being fancy, y'all. Normally, it would be like, I don't know, get you a plate, put some food on it. Eat it. Don't eat it. Make ramen noodles. Don't make ramen noodles. Make you some turkey salad. Well, now I'm going to go out there. I hear him. He's out at the wood shop. He's still, he's working on a bar top. And when he gets back in here, we will both have to taste this for you and just see what we think. Hopefully it's delicious. Papa has agreed to join me and come on in and let's taste what we have made, this turkey salad. And just kind of tell me what you think, Papa.
Man, that's looking good.
Good. I hope it is good.
Oh, man.
Mom, that's delicious.
You do good, Nana. You do good.
I'm not even going to add any kind of seasoning to that.
I don't know what you would add.
It's delicious.
Man. All right, there's some good stuff.
I did all right on that today.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
all right, let's wrap this thing up and eat.
Good idea. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and allowing me to share with you a family favorite that we use in our family all the time, year-round really. And I hope you come back and join us again. But meanwhile, the most important thing out of everything I have said today is this. Just in case no one has told you today, Nana loves you.